Welcome back to Working Dog Training Online. This is our first video upload for several months. In November 2024, we moved from the Western Downs in Queensland to the Liverpool Plains in New South Wales. So I've had a very busy few months. There hasn't been too much formal dog training going on, but we've had heaps of practical stock work and plenty of work for the dogs. So hopefully this video will show you our new home, catch you up on what we've been up to, and get the ball rolling for plenty of quality content to come. This is Bronson, 22 months. Little bend out whistle there. Little pull in whistle there. Just want to get these cattle across this creek. Yeah. So he wasn't listening that well there, so I just gave him some correction from my voice. He's turned up in the right spot. This is one of the very first cattle jobs we did at Makiwa. These are some bought cattle. We weren't quite organised to process them immediately at the time, so we dropped them in this paddock and we're just getting them back in to process them. So just got a bit closer to this creek. Tuck Bronson into a drive here. You guys haven't seen anything of Bronson yet, but we have filmed his progress and we will get some content up to fill in the gaps as time goes on. So this is Mack, back near the house. We've seen him run out into this paddock earlier on a right-hand out run. That was on a handful of sheep. This time it's on that packet, just under 200 with the new ewes. Obviously I do send him left as well as right up here, but the couple of clips we caught, it made sense to send him to the right. So I think it's important to point out, no command at this stage, just the setup for the outrun and the side command to send him, which is anti-clockwise obviously. So there is some more of this paddock over this hill, out of sight. It's a bit of a tricky corner that you'll probably see at some stage, but you can't see it from this part of the paddock. So I'm putting a fair bit of trust in Mack at the moment. This is the kind of stuff we're trying to improve on and develop. And I think it's important to remind you guys that as much as this is a bit of a slower, steadier clip, that this kind of training is just as important as anything else. I think a lot of people neglect that and they never get their dogs past a certain level. People think of working stock dog training in round yards and arenas, and that's very much an important part of the foundation. But I like to think of this as training as well. This is a practical job. I need these sheep brought in, and I want Mac to be able to work on his own, at distance, sometimes out of sight, without command. So he tucked that one in on the left without the drama that we saw last time. While I've been talking, you'll notice Mac is a little bit one-sided. He keeps drifting to the left-hand side of screen between 12 o'clock and 9 o'clock. It's not terrible, but it's noticeable enough that the sheep have drifted quite a bit to the right-hand side from where Mac picked them up. So as much as I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt and let him work it out for himself, there came a point I had to give a clockwise command to just tell him to tidy up between 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock. That's that 1 o'clock balance point we talk about. So 11 o'clock's fine, 1 o'clock not so much. So see how he's short on that side? I've said many times in the round yard training that if you're short on 3, you'll be short on 300. And this is just a good example of that. So it's not a big deal, just something to learn to recognise. See, he was short again there. So there's a little bit of one-sidedness showing. See, he was short again. If that fence wasn't there on the right-hand side, these sheep would eventually just keep drifting across to the right of screen instead of coming straight to me. There's another clockwise side command, just to tell him to get all the way around there and to cover those sheep. He's shown up again on the left, hasn't he? He's on the right track there. There you go, finally, on his own accord, he's shown up at that 1 o'clock balance point. So this is a good little clip. Hopefully it's not boring for you guys. Just to show some longer periods with little to no command. And it's amazing what shows up if you just shut your mouth and let your dog work. You'll get a good indication of where your dog's at. So this is the same mob, same paddock, different day. So we're actually headed back to the same spot that we saw in the last clip. This time we're up the top driving, whereas last time we were down the bottom on balance. So it's good to show these couple of clips together. Show you the contrast between balance, which requires minimal to no command, whereas driving is much more so command over instinct, which requires a little bit of guidance. So in saying that, if you do pay attention, I'm giving Mack as few commands as I can. If he's tucked in there in the right spot, I'll say nothing. If he needs a little bit of straightening up like that, anti-clockwise whistle. I'll give him the whistle if I need to. That was a there whistle. So see how just with that there whistle, he kind of straightened up without too much follow-up. Another little brain explosion. So you'll notice I gave him a harsh voice correction. He was on the wrong side of that sheep. And really, he caused that sheep to pop out anyway. So I want him to know that that's not on. You can see some of the terrain in the background. We'll see plenty more of it. But there is some country with a bit of steepness to it. There's gullies, there's trees. So I'd like to be able to trust my working dogs out of sight for periods of time. So if I can't trust them at this distance, how can I trust them in rough terrain at distance? So when Mack's good, I'll let him work. When he's not so good, I'll let him know. So these sheep are starting to flow a bit more than the last couple of clips. It's also worth pointing out, because it has been so long between uploads, the improvement in Mack. There's plenty of videos in his earlier work where he couldn't resist cutting in on a mob of cattle to bite something.
Boy.
And now he's becoming,
Sit down.
or at least well on the way, to being a nice sheepdog as well. Just shows what some good training
Stop.
and plenty of practical
Boy.
work can do. So this is just a bit of a clip out towards the back of the place. This is still only a few weeks into our first cattle purchases. There's somewhere between 300 and 400 steers in this mob. We're just moving them to a fresh paddock. So it's interesting to see. We've had a little bit of rain, obviously. The weather's starting to warm up. And we're starting to grow a little bit of grass. But the point of putting this clip in here is just to show bought cattle, only been here for a couple of weeks. But look how well handled and happy they are. Doesn't take long if you do it well. We've got a couple of dogs here, no command. I'm working the gateway, and these dogs are just bringing the tail. Cattle are happy, dogs are going well. Nice and easy. I'll just let these cattle fill up on grass, have a drink, and we're just starting to put them back together. This is Bronson. So this little short clip just shows the difference you can make with bought cattle, just with a 20-minute session the night before. And look at them walk out now. You can see the terrain in the background. So when we put those steers out there, I want to be confident that I can get them back. So back with Mack. These are a few sheep in the wrong paddock. He just wasn't taking his clockwise whistle that well there. He's reluctant to tuck in between the buggy and the stock. So we just stuck with it and got the result. So that's the first few months at the new place. We appreciate your patience while we've settled in and got the place running. We've got heaps of great footage to come in the very near future. Some more formal training with some young dogs and plenty more practical work on sheep and cattle.